I will explain about the climate of India. In previous YouTube live class, I will discuss about the locational boundary and aerial extent of the Indian subcontinent. So today I will explain about the climate of India. So we know I will make a rough Indian map. If you see the continental extent of longitudinal extent, so you know that the latitude and longitudinal extent is ranges between 6 degree north to 37 degree north, right? It's a huge and diversified aerial extension. So and we know that the middle portion of the country is caused over the Tropic of Cancer, right? So Tropic of Cancer. So if you divided the Indian continent into several the climatic zone, you see that the northern portion of the Indian subcontinent, it is included under this portion. This is included under the Alpine climatic zone. And if you consider the western part, this part, it is known as the arid climatic zone. Okay, and what about the eastern and southern part? This portion, eastern part, it is included under humid subtropical, and what about the rest part? It is included under it takes time because I hatching over the map, so it takes time. And this portion is included under the tropical climatic zone. Okay. So, what are the major climatic zone of India? Number one is the Alpine climatic zone, which is covered the northern portion of the Indian continent. Western part is known as the arid climatic zone. Third one is the humid subtropical, which is covered the eastern portion of the continent. And number 4 is tropical climatic zone, which is covered the southern part of the Indian subcontinent. So there are major 4 climatic zone in India. So, and this climatic zone is determined by the several factors. So what are the several factors? The first factor is the latitude and longitudinal extent. So we know that the longitudinal extent is 6 degree north to 37 degree north. So it's a huge extent. This portion, the southern portion of the Indian subcontinent, it is near to the equator. Okay, so it's in this portion the climate condition is mainly hot. So the southern portion of the Indian continent experience hot climate because it's closer to equator, right? Why it's experiences a hot climate? Because the sunrise fall directly on that portion, so it's so this portion is mainly experience the hot climate, right? This portion. And what about the northern portion? So northern portion of the mountain is bounded by the Himalaya mountain. So Himalaya mountain is act as a barrier, right? So it's also control the monsoonal wind. So Himalaya mountain also determine the climatic factors of the Indian subcontinent. So there are the two parts. What are the two factors? Like I will rub it. Right. So what are the factors determine climate of India? The first one I told, it's latitudinal extent. Okay, so the Tropic of Cancer is crossed over the middle part of the Indian subcontinent, and the southern part of the Indian subcontinent is close to the equator. So the sun rays directly fall over the region. So it's experience a hot climate. So it is under latitudinal extent. What about the number two factors is Himalaya mountain. Himalaya mountain, right? So Himalaya mountain is bounded over here. I mean this portion, right? We know that the Great Himalaya mountain, this portion. Okay, so Himalaya mountain is act as a barrier because it controls the southwestern monsoonal pathway, and also helps to barrier the cold winds which is coming from the China and all. So it's stuck with the winds and don't get to in over the Indian subcontinent. So second factor is the Himalaya mountain. What about the third? Third is the relief features. What is relief features? We know that the relief features is also divided into three parts, right? Plain, mountain, and plateau. Right? Relief features divided into three parts. If you consider the plain, we see that the plain region is mainly lies over this portion: Bihar, Jharkhand, West Bengal, the Odisha. These are the portion which is bounded by the plain region, and also the Rajasthan part and Gujarat part. It's not the undulating portion. It's also a plain portion. And what about the mountains? This portion, the Ketu, and there are different pass which is situated over the region, and the central part of the Indian subcontinent. This portion. This is the Vinda Plateau. This is the Satpura Range, Chotanagpur Plateau. This portion is also under the Deccan Plateau. So this region is mainly bounded by the several mountains. And what about the plateaus? The central portion of the Indian subcontinent, MP, Chhattisgarh, Maharashtra. These are the portion which is included in the plateau region, right? So relief features is also determine the climatic condition. It's like suppose that the southwestern monsoon is crossed from the this portion, but if the wind is cut by any mountain, so the pathway of the particular wind is changed. So that is the point included in relief factors. So because of the relief factors, it's determine the particular pathway of the wind, right? Now what about the next? Number 4 is the monsoon. It's very important, monsoon condition. Okay, so we know that the Indian agricultural or Indian economic development is highly determined by the monsoon condition, because we know that the monsoon wind, which is highly accumulated in the Arabian Sea. I just grab it and I will show you what is actually happening over that portion. So wait. Okay. Right? So this is the Arabian Sea. Right? And we know that this portion is Bay of Bengal. Right? We all know that this is Arabian Sea, this is Bay of Bengal. And in June to September, there is a wind which is developed over here, and it creates a low pressure in between this portion, and the wind system which pass over that portion, and it reach the eastern portion of the Indian subcontinent, which is include under the this portion include different regions. You know that Assam, Meghalaya, Cherrapunji, these are the several regions which is situated in the eastern part. So in that monsoon, it has a particular name. It's known as the southwestern monsoon, which is developed over the Arabian Sea, and it's passed from the central portion of the Indian subcontinent, and it's reached the eastern portion of the Indian subcontinent, and it's passed from the central portion of the Indian subcontinent, and it's reached the eastern portion of the Indian subcontinent, and it result a high amount of the rainfall. We know that the Monsoon is the received highest rainfall region, and Cherrapunji also. And what about the backward side of the mountain? We know that in backward side there is a one place which is very famous, Shillong. Shillong is also situated in the backside of the mountain. So it's don't receive much rainfall as the Cherrapunji and Monsoon, but it's received near about the 500 to 600 centimeter rainfall. So it's also a huge rainfall. So this is the all condition which is happened between June to September. After September, this monsoon winds also retreat from that place. So how it looks? So I have to rub it. Wait. So after September, so this wind, this wind, the southwestern monsoon, is retreat from that place. Right? Retreat from that place. It's come back from its origin. The source region. So when it's come back from that place, it's fall over the Bay of Bengal. You know that this portion is Bay of Bengal, and from the Bay of Bengal, when the wind is over the Bay of Bengal, it carries some moisture from that ocean, and it gets more powerful. Okay, when the wind gets more powerful and it's crossed over that place, you know that there is a one coast in your map. This is known as a Coromandel coast. It is very famous, and when the wind is reached over that portion, and it's result a wide range of winter rainfall on that portion. So we know that the Coromandel coast experience winter rainfall due to monsoon winds. Right? Please note it down because it is very important in oral test or the viva test. It comes. It is Coromandel coast which experience the winter rainfall due to the monsoon winds. So I think it's clear to all of you. Number 4. Number 5 point is the jet stream. Jet stream is mainly an upper air circulation current which is also determine the monsoonal direction of over the subcontinent. Okay, number 6 is the El Nina and La Nina activities. El Nina and La Nina activities is also a very determining factors which is determine the climatic portion of the Indian subcontinent. The climatic condition of the Indian subcontinent, and it's also determine the monsoonal direction of the pathway and Western disturbance. Okay, Western disturbance also. What is Western disturbance? We know that the monsoon is the main reason for rainfall in our country. So if monsoon comes early, the 10th June. 10th June is the date. 10th June is the date, first date in West Bengal when the first monsoon comes. The first rainfall is happened in 10th June. Generally 10th June is the date. But if monsoon comes before 10th June, it causes the high rainfall and its result flood activity. And if the monsoon comes after the 10th June, the 1 month later after the 10th June, and the rainfall accumulation is not so high, and it's affect the agricultural production, and its result the drought or the famine situation over the Indian subcontinent. So these are the main factors which determine the climate of India. It is very important for your upcoming exam. So these are the main factors which is control or influence the climate of India, right? So I will end with this. If you have any question, then ask me in my WhatsApp number, or you can feel free to call me. So please look over there.